I'm going to talk about interceptors. So interceptors, basically they intercept all the request and response calls, and they can modify the request before it is before it is sent to the server. And similarly, it can be used to modify the response before it enters the system, before it enters the Angular application. So let's see how to write interceptors. So let's create a new folder for writing the code of interceptors, and we'll copy 17 into it, 18 interceptors. Let's go to 18 interceptors and run the code. HTTP server. So since it is already running, let me close it. So this is the backend server which is running. So let's run HTTP server, and so everything is running fine, and we have a slider which we covered in the last topic. And now we will talk about interceptors. Cool. So let's create a folder for interceptor. So new folder, interceptors, and let's have a new file. Let's have a token interceptor.js. So we'll use this interceptor to put tokens on request object, and we'll do some more stuff. So I've just created an interceptor. So I'll write books card dot factory. So factory is something similar to service. So I'll explain what is the difference between factory and services. The name of the interceptor, token interceptor, and then a function. So there is a standard way in which interceptors are written. So I have the code snippet. Let me go to any JavaScript file, ch4 interceptor. Yeah. Yeah. So there is a standard way in which interceptors are written. So they can they can be of this format. They are generally a factory. They can also be a service. So when used as a factory, this is the name of the token interceptor. So this is just a common service. We are using the factory syntax here. So it returns an object which can have one or all of these four keys and methods. And this is the standard way of writing interceptors. So it has to return the request further. It intercepts it. In this case, it just prints it. It prints the request object and lets it go. Similarly, in case of request error, so this is the standard line. I will not go into the details. So basically, you have to write your code here in case request error happens. Similarly, write your code here when you want to do something with the response. Here I am just printing it. Similarly, the same case for response error. So you write your code instead of console.log. Right? Since we are using $q, so we need to inject $q. So $q is a service which is used to uh, that is basically implementation of promise uh, in Angular. So this is our interceptor. right? So now since this is a new JavaScript file, we need to include it in index.html. Interceptors slash token interceptor.js. Sorry, yeah. So if I do inspect element, this is coming from jQuery UI, so it's looking for some icons. Yeah. Now since I have added an interceptor, I have just declared the interceptor, I also need to add it, so we can do that here, and the code for that is ch4, sorry, I have it saved, so something like this. Bookcart dot config, some the same way we do routes function function, and here we write $http provider and $http provider dot interceptors dot push our interceptor token. Let me check the code once again. Yeah, dot push token interceptor. So when I refresh, so now all the request and response object, they are logged, right? So this is the response object, so there is a status, right? There is some data. In case here there is an array of 8 elements, there is a config, response configurations, response headers and all these headers. Similarly request made with, so request objects are also logged here. So here we can see inside request headers, so x-axis token is going because of uh, maybe this line in services, book service, we are sending the headers here from here, right? So that is also intercepted by this request interceptor. So let me remove this for now, which we did in some previous chapter, and let me also remove it from app.js. So now you won't see the x-axis token header anymore, right? And if I show you the code again, so this is coming from line number 4, so it is intercepting all the requests. So using this we can also add something to the request, for example request dot headers x access token equal to my token, right? So if I refresh and if I see any request inside headers, so this token has been added, right? So interceptors, using interceptors, we can also play around with request headers. So it intercepts all the calls to the server and put some token. Right. Similarly, in response interceptor, I can write something like if response dot data is there, and or maybe response dot data dot constructor equal to array. So if it is of type array, then response dot data dot push some dummy array, dummy book. So only call which fetches array as response is the this book list fetch call. So I'll add a dummy book. Author is dummy author. Price is 0. Rating is 3. So if I refresh, so if I go down, so look, this new book is added to the response, and it is not coming from the server. So if I see on the server backend, localhost 3000 / book. So here this dummy book is not there, but here I am able to see it, right, with price 0. So to all the responses which are so this will intercept it, and it will check if it is an array, then it will push it, right. So I see a dummy book here. So I hope the concept of interceptors is clear. So this is a standard way you write interceptors, and you can also chain interceptors, have multiple interceptors. For example, in app.js, here you can push more interceptors and they will be chained.